Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Pagan Show, where I am talking about all of the community. A little bit, I will have a interview with Mary Hawk, Queen of Swords, and rising member of our community who has earned a great deal of respect for a very long, hard road she has been on. There's a lot of things you don't know about Mary, but today I'm going to give a bit of a testimonial before this to give you more of an introduction from my point of view. And one of the strongest things about Mary Hawk, Reverend Mary Hawk, is that she loves to get her hands dirty with actual activities. She's been the leader of Nashville Pagan Pride for 12 years, along with Lucy, who I adore too, Lucia Jamison. Those two of them have done an amazing job to do one of the very best pagan prides. First weekend of October, every Saturday, first Saturday of October this year too. And they'll be opening up the vending. They always sell out all the vendor work. They always make a great situation. They actually are a role model on how to handle attacks on pagans during events. They've done all of that. They're a role model of all of that. And it's not just enough that she's done this. She's been. We'll talk about her media pieces right now, but I want to make sure that we understand. A lot of times we see men get a lot of credit for things that women do not. This is one of those events. A lot of people around don't give Mary more credit of how she works with us. Um, she's been working with me for years, and it's a very interesting situation. She went through a very, very tragic situation, which I could not understand. I mean, I told her I can't understand what you're feeling, but I will work through with you any way that you want those feelings to be worked on. Because there's a lot of things I can never feel. I learned this a lot when I worked on the south side of Chicago, and I was doing permaculture and urban farming. Steve was a great guy, and I found out one of the things, even with that advanced thing, I could not understand some of the things that were going on from a feeling point of view. From a physical point of view, I can understand. Remember, everybody's universe is different. We all live in these reality tunnels, and they taught me how to do this. Well, Mary, not only she's run Pagan Pride, and people really haven't talked to her, she's going to be running the Nashville, the global, what do we call it? It's a global illustration this year, and she's going to attract people from all over the country. But she's also been running some of. She's been the digital press manager for the Karelian Nativist tradition. She's an officer of the Karelian Church Incorporated. Her and a lot of things that so she's been very much involved in media. She sells at events. She's Pagan World Congress. She co-chaired. There's a lot of things about Mary, and I wish I would have brought more of this into it. But she is such a humble person. It's very hard to get her to talk out about it. Plus, she's a numerologist. She's helping raise two gorgeous grandchildren. She's dealing with things in her community. She's a fantastic ally and a very good friend. And I think women need to get more appreciated. I think that we do a terrible job appreciating women. And they go, Ed, you've been involved with this. Are you saying I have had women behind me for the biggest part of it? And I always try to give credit. I mean, one of my best people who worked with me was Marianne Kay, who did so much work with us. Um, Virginia Smith did a lot of work with us. We can go on and on and on. People won't remember her, but Joy Fry was a very early person there. So there's always been women around us. Lisa Tuitt, the third unspoken um, founder of Witch School, who went on to another life. We don't give these voices enough. So I need help figuring out how to give women's voices more amplification, more of ability to be heard. And today I'm going to do my interview with Mary Hawk. So I hope you enjoy this. And yes, send me a message. I really am serious about doing a better job talking with women. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the show. And we're talking to another one of our friends, as well as producer, Reverend Mary Hawk, who's become quite the leader in our community. She does amazing things. She's done Nashville Pagan Pride for 10 years, 11 years now.
Uh,
Um,
13?
13. And she has done so many different things, but I'm going to get right away. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Thank you, Ed. Good to be here.
So one of the things that has been hard for our community, especially the younger community, which is very digital. Something we've been involved with for quite a while, but they're much more digital than most people realize, and they're having a hard time sometimes figuring out things in our community. Um, so you have a great story. How did you become part of the pagan community? How did you start?
Okay. Well, I was attending Tennessee State University, could not afford my own computer at the time, and I was in the computer lab, and I do not remember what I was searching on, but I found a website on Wicca. And I had recently left Christianity, decided I it just didn't make sense for me. And I read this website about Wicca, read about and it harm none, do as thou wilt, the Wiccan read, read about magic, about programming energy, about working with a goddess instead of a god, and it just made sense to me. And one of the books they recommended for beginners was The Truth About Witchcraft Today by Scott Cunningham. So this was a Wednesday or a Thursday, and when I got paid on Friday, I went and bought the book. And I sat up most of the night Friday when I should have been studying, really. And I read the book, and I was even more intrigued.
Well, it's interesting which book it ended up being more valuable, the study books or the Wicca book, right?
Yes, I should have been studying. Here I am, single mother, working my way through college. Once I put the kid to bed, instead of doing my homework, I read this book. But it just really, really resonated with me. And there was a list of books he had written and books he recommended in the back. So my next book was Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner, also by Scott Cunningham. And this was 1998, and I'm totally dating myself with my book list here, although they're still in print, I believe, and they're great books for beginners.
Oh, they're still in print, and I think they're impressive. I think uh, The Truth About Witchcraft is probably one of the largest sellers in history. I think it's had like 800,000 copies printed.
Yes. And Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner is a great book to start off in Wicca with. So I
Hmm.
read that one very quickly. It explains how to do ritual,
Yeah,
and I started practicing by myself.
there you go. And that's how a lot of people do it. And so you went along. Well, today you're a leader. I mean, you are, Divination TV. You're working with you are one of the founders of the Pagan World projects around there. You're involved with the Correllian tradition and even holding the illustration come next year. So how did you bridge from studying alone to being involved?
Well, and this was in Nashville, Tennessee. I graduated from Tennessee State University in 1999, and I moved to New England, where there is quite a bit of magical practice and Wicca, and I began connecting with community there. And then, unfortunately, I got laid off from my job in 2003 and wound up back in Nashville. But I began connecting with the community here. I joined a coven here. It was a very eclectic Wiccan coven. I started volunteering with Pagan Pride Day in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And slowly but surely you started to do things. You're also deeply involved in Corellian tradition. How did that
yeah,
happen?
well, the first coven I was a part of fell apart. I then joined the North Wind tradition, which was founded by Grey Cat, who was an incredible teacher. She's now passed, but I highly respect her, and I have a North Wind first degree. And unfortunately, that coven wound up having some major issues due to one individual, and I wound up having to leave that coven. And I was looking for a way to further my studies, and I found Witch School online, which is the seminary of the Corellian tradition. And I took some of the free classes to be sure I was going to get my money's worth because I have Scottish ancestry and I don't jump right into anything before I spend money. And I had just decided that I would go ahead and join to pursue my first degree when you offered a lifetime membership to
Yep,
there was a server upgrade going on, so I joined.
there you go.
There
And
you go.
so from that you became involved, and so tell me, let's go ahead and talk about next year. You're going to do so. You're taking on a big chunk. So you've been doing Pagan Pride, which is a tremendous, and with your partner and
My partner in
others.
crime,
Yeah,
Lucy Jameson, yes.
yeah. Um, and also you have a lot of long-term volunteer staff. I know your son-in-law helps, and a lot of others around you help. How have you held it together? I mean, a lot of pagan prides have failed. Um, you made it through
Well,
COVID.
it started with just Lucy and I committing to making it happen and making it grow. We both had the vision that we were going to make this work. We had 300 people in attendance the first year we ran it. And when we took it over, it had been mismanaged. And I'll just say that. But we have worked to steadily grow it, advertise it, attract vendors. The first year, I was calling everybody I knew who did any kind of pagan artisan work. You make olds, you make jewelry. Will you please come vend at my event? And we are now getting vendors contacting us from word of mouth. You know, my friend vended at your event and had an amazing day. They said I have to vend next year. And our highest attendance has been 1,500 people. We're around generally 1,000, 1,200.
And for the event, so Yeah, and so next year, it's always the first Saturday.
It's the first Saturday of October.
Okay.
We stay steady there because we have many vendors who vend with us every year and presenters who come back every year, and that lets them plan their schedules accordingly.
Um, so you just recently did another online event. You've been doing a lot of online events, and that was the Pagan World Congress.
Yes, and that was amazing.
Can you talk about that? Because that's a different type of leadership than, say, running a Pagan Pride.
It is. We had presenters literally from around the world. We had people from South Africa, from Australia, from the Philippines. It was amazing. We had people discussing indigenous spirituality. We had people talking about how to manage conflict, how to grow your spirituality. It was just an amazing event, and we had thousands of views both during the weekend and then as we've run the videos afterwards.
Absolutely. We're probably right around 500,000 across the board. Uh, 39 presentations, 37 presenters. It was an interesting thing. And what was your leadership role in that?
Well, I contacted presenters and got them on board, worked out schedules. I was working behind the scenes as well.
Well, you're a
On the
co-chair.
I was the co-chair. Yes, I was the co-chair, and this
I
is
mean,
what I
that's
was doing as the co-chair was organizing presenters
and
and
and and, and you got to some of the newest people in our community to talk, as well as some of our most esteemed people like Phyllis Carrot and uh,
yes.
Tish and all those. But you also got a lot of younger people, and you did an amazing job. So I'm a younger person. How can I get involved with my community? What can you do? What
Oh,
can we do? What can we do to get, they're asking themselves, they're having an existential crisis amongst the youth.
okay. For a younger person wanting to get involved in the community, I'm going to say look for magical and occult stores in your community and look at their event listings. Number one, there are probably classes you could go to. Uh, we have just started running what we're calling a brouhaha at a coffee shop that's meeting monthly on the northern end of Nashville, and certainly everyone is welcome to come to that. Look for a pagan pride day, and we're always looking for volunteers, and all we're asking is that you be at least 13 to volunteer with your parents' permission. Um, the other thing you can do is look for groups in your area. Look for covens, look for hearts if you're leaning more towards a heathen group. And they do have online presences. You can join witch school if you're 13, if you're interested in studying the Corellian tradition. But look for meetups in your area. You can certainly find ways to get involved, and they're usually posting online.
Excellent. One last question. So one of the questions I've asked some of the leaders is that we all lose our faith at some point. We get started on this path, and at some point we lose our faith, and then we recover it. Can you share one of the moments you have had where that happened to you?
Well, I mentioned my north wind coven blowing up, and that was a time when I did step back for a bit. And I I really for about 6 months I was not really involved with anything. I was not going to events. I was not involved in, I was not doing a personal spiritual practice much at that point. And really, what pulled me back was someone calling me and saying, "Hey, let's go do such and such at the park." And I sort of hemmed and hawed, and she's like, "Come on, I haven't seen you in forever. Let's go to this meetup at the park. Come on, we haven't hung out in forever." And I'm like, okay, because I really couldn't come up with a good reason why I shouldn't go hang out with my friend at the park that day and go and do a public ritual, and that just being out with other pagans and participating in ritual really made me see I had cut myself off
And
and I
then,
needed to come back.
so even if people have a negative experience, um, they can find ways to come back into the community.
And
I
that
mean,
is one thing I will say. People are human beings. Uh, Groups will blow up and fall apart. Leaders are human beings and they have feet of clay and they'll make mistakes. And even if you get hurt one place, you need to move on and find another place.
and there you go. So, what do you think 2026 is going to bring to you?
Well, I am actually planning on spending some time this weekend working on what I'm going to be doing in 2026 and where I'm going to take Divination TV.
There you go.
So, I'm planning on revamping the website and adding more content, spending more time working on my book. So, exciting things are coming.
There you go. Well, thank you, Mary. And of course, we're going to have Mary throughout this show, as we know, as we make our move to kind of help the community learn about itself. So thank you, Mary. And Mary's also a great numerologist. You can see her on every Thursday, or almost every Thursday, on Divination TV, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the website divinationtv.com. And so there you go. And if you are looking forward to it, if you're just getting, because this is, the year's just getting started, Mary can also help you out with an amazing numerology report of your life that can help you get there. If you believe the world is a simulation and an algorithm, Mary can help with your tried and true numerology. Blessing, folks, and we'll be back right after this.
Thank you, Ed.
And there we go. What a great interview. Again, I want to say I really want people to, to really, I find Mary fascinating. I find her a great person to work with. I find her important, and I think she's growing. And she has a whole lot of friends and networks she's built of this next generation that just is fascinating with fascinating women. And we're going to do more interviews with them. Today, look at the Wild Hunt. Wild Hunt has got a very interesting article. I think is very well written. I think it does speak well to what everything is saying. And yeah, it's all about AI. Now, I agree with it? No, I think we're now past that point, and I've never hit it, so I don't feel that bad about it. Um, because I know a lot of people don't like to use generative AI, and they're trying to blame generative AI for the big use of electricity and water. And the truth is, that's not true. It's not generative AI. That's how they're fueling it. What the big actions are is folding proteins, making molecules, huge databases where they're investigating macro solutions and macro oppression. I'm not going to tell you there's not dangers and there's not things that are happening. Um, but certainly there. But this article, very well written. I want to know what your thoughts are before I say anything. And tomorrow night, I will be back with a live show, and I am going to explain. Everybody's saying, "Okay, Ed, what's the plan? What's up? What are you trying to do?" And yeah, so we're going to do that tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and I hope you will. I hope you'll follow me then. And I'm looking very excited about all of this. All right. I will talk to you soon. Be back tomorrow. And things are moving along. So ask everybody, join Ed the Pagan Show for a year of amazing events.